right, we're live. Woohoo! I'm so excited to be back here making America sacred again. Every day I've had this beautiful opportunity to learn from some amazing people so far, and grateful I get an opportunity to connect more with Ed. Ed and I have, chatted through the years, it seems, and we finally get an opportunity to see each other in person as much as we can on video and relate. That's what I look forward to, is all my relations. So welcome, Ed. Thank you so much for tuning in and, being part of this. It's a sacred space for me to learn a lot about others and, their traditions, and how we chatted before about you walking the way of the sacred, and with nature. And so I'm just excited to learn more about you. If you want to introduce yourself and your background, and then we'll go from there.
All right. Well, thanks for having me, Millie. Like you said, my name's Ed, and my last name is Dallara. Um, and so, do you want me to just go into my family background first, and then?
Yeah, tell me about you. I know we connected because of your ability to grow food in fall. That impressed me. So I definitely, however we get into that part of talk, I love it. But I do want to just share with people who you are, where you come from, because we were just talking about, not all of us come from a recognized tribe in this country, and so we do, though, have a lot of people that are walking one with nature, and I want to honor. We all have our own traditions and things that were passed down through our families, be it where you come from or where I come from or all the lineages I came from, with respect to traditions that, some of these families we definitely hold very dear. So thank you for just however open you feel like being. I appreciate you sharing.
Um, so my family's from the old country. I'm not like a Native American. I'm, European. And
Well, tell me
I'll,
old country. Let's break down what that means. Some people may not
well,
relate to that.
my dad is from northern Italy. My dad's side of the family. My mom's side of the family is from the Azores Islands, off the coast of Portugal.
Mm.
And anybody knows anything about some of the older California, well, not really, really old, because then it went back to the Spaniards and the Mexicans and the natives before that.
Mhm.
But after came a lot of Portuguese, about 500 years ago, a lot of Portuguese families sailed all the way around the Cape. Some of them came from the mainland Portugal, some of them. The ones that were really into sailing, though, most people should know, are from the Azorian Islands, and that's where my mom's side is from. And they sailed all the way around, and they were looking for something that was on the same, what do you call that? Is it latitude or longitude? I believe it's longitude, um, as that part of Europe. So they came around, and they, would go ashore here and there, and then I believe uh, they picked the Marin and Sonoma County coast because of past explorers. And so that's how my mom's family got to California. I currently live in Texas now, though. I'm in South Texas. I moved here in 2021. But my dad's side of the family, they came in from straight across the Atlantic, Ellis Island, went to San Rafael, and that's actually uh, rather well documented. There's a picture of my grandfather and all his brothers and sisters and their wives and kids, that's actually written from 1910 in San Rafael.
Wow,
And so
that's
my
cool.
grandfather, my mom's side of the family, I was told through her that my grandfather was a cattle rancher on my mom's side. He had cows. Uh, and then on my dad's side, they were right there. There's some park right there. It's a really popular park in San Rafael. They lived in this really big house that sat on the side of a hill, and my grandfather made his own wine. And they also would. A lot of people don't know this, but do you know that the Italian families made their own prosciutto and salami and just hung it up in the garage next to the water heater where it was dry, or in a separate room? Well,
Oh,
people don't know this. It's just sea salt, and they would take, when they would grind the meat, they would take a piece of last time's salami and chop that
yeah.
up and mix that in really good and grind that in. And that was a starter because it had the
The
right bacteria.
flavoring. Yeah, yeah, cool. I love hearing this.
Yeah. And the amount of salt was what kept the good bacteria to flourish and the bad bacteria wouldn't. It's the way we always preserve food from way, way, way back. You know, there's a big controversy about salt these days. And,
Oh,
that's
I know.
kind of something else. What's that?
I said, oh, I know. Let's chat about that. Like the salt, maybe all the salt people get is that table salt that has all the minerals stripped from it. Share
It
with me
makes,
more.
yeah, it makes my heart pound. It's terrible stuff. And the thing is one day, uh, another part, see, and so we're splitting off it. Just
Mm,
to segue off it, and I originally was introduced to eating more wholesome and natural when my mom got AFib a really long time ago.
mm.
Uh, was back when they used to prescribe women Dexedrine or Dexedrine, it's a stimulant
Yeah, wow.
when so they could like cope with raising all the kids and
Numb
just
out.
like drink some coffee or eat some chocolate, but giving them, Dexedrine, it's
Speed.
like
Yeah,
beans. I
yeah.
believe those were called beans.
Well, speed, I thought is what it is, basically.
It
Ephedrine.
is not,
Yeah,
yeah, not the same chemical makeup exactly or the word because it's
gross.
Dex. But
Gross. Oh, gross. We all
yeah,
lost our way at some point, and but that's what led you guys back to that more wholesome diet again. Is that right?
yeah. She started drinking protein powder. She they got it under control. She started eating more healthy. She started taking vitamins, drinking protein powder. She started making homemade yogurt. Um, she's pickles covered like I do, but us kids would always if she. Oh boy, I hear I'm telling on myself. If she had chocolate chips for chocolate chip cookies, she'd have to buy a bag right before she made them because who would eat them? I'd find a bag and I would eat a couple and I couldn't stop. But she made pickles and I would eat the pickles, but she stopped trying to do that. But the yogurt was different. It was like gross to us until it was done, right? And so we would leave it alone. But I've yet to try to make yogurt, but she made yogurt. She would eat carob chips instead of chocolate, and she would buy the dried carob beans and grind it in powder or something, I think. I'm
Mhm.
not sure. I do remember eating carob chips like they were like chocolate chips. I thought they were really good.
Yeah.
And made me a protein shake, and I noticed how I felt great after that. And we're supposed to be getting to salt. I'll get to that.
Don't
And then,
worry. I want to talk
and
about
then,
yogurt too.
and then, and then, she would eat soy beans dried like peanuts.
Mm,
And I tried those, and they were really good. Made me feel really good too. Uh, but she got better that way. She got over the AFib that way and went for years and years and years.
mm.
Um, so fast forward for me, I had gotten AFib when I was younger, but it was really kind of weird in the fact that when I would go to the emergency room for it, everybody, you know what, I had the worst people around me as far as being supportive. Like, you could die from this. Go in the emergency room. It was like, oh, what are you? Quit. Don't worry about it. You'll be okay. And it's like my heart's beating funny. What are you talking about? Feel my pulse. Well, I can't feel it. I had terrible support for that. I could have very easily gone into cardiac arrest. Is what the story is. Is that people that get AFib at a young age have 2 or 3 times more of dying at a young age from cardiac arrest. So, I look to something up there kept me alive. But anyway, I would go to the emergency room. My heart would start beating normal again. They wouldn't be able to find it. I kept doing that over and over until finally I got there one time and they hooked me up. The doctor gave me a note, say, run EKG stat. And he said, next time you get it, you come to the emergency room right away, show them this paper. And so that's what I did. And so they got me hooked up to an EKG and they ran a tape. Back then they had to run the piece of paper and then run the piece of paper into a computer, have a computer tell them what it was. Because it wasn't like this. It was like this. It was like a little kid scribbled across. And so we knew something was wrong, but they weren't sure if it was AFib or what it was. So they got me diagnosed. I started beating normal again. They prescribed me with a drug that was for blood pressure and that, low tensin. And I took it long enough to start feeling good, started working out, I remember my mom, started working out, started drinking protein powder, started eating high protein. I would buy a big old pack of pork chops, like 10 pork chops. We'd cook them all, and I'd just have steamed broccoli with it. No rice. I went low carb. When I did drink any milk, I drank rice milk because, we all know modern dairy is bad too. It's not wrong.
We were meant to sap on the tit for so long, were we? No.
Terrible what they're doing to us. Anyway, so then I quit taking the drug, and I made it. If it wasn't for everything I learned, I started seeing a chiropractor. That was extremely helpful also, because one thing I noticed is that when I got my back adjusted, I just went today too. I was almost falling asleep into a nap when it was time. I was like, oh, because I'm not in pain. I'm not in a ton of pain. Anyway, the chiropractors are touting naturally fermented and enzymes and supplementation of stuff that you're missing.
Yeah, it's hard
And
to source. And you get snow where you are now, right?
pardon me?
It
No,
snows where you are now, or no? You didn't move to that kind of region.
no, I'm south of San Antonio a little ways. We get cold. It's like cold right now, but I seen today we got a warm spell coming, but we get 6 weeks of winter and then it goes right back to
Okay, so you get blessed with more seasons to be able to fill you
yeah.
so you don't need so many supplements. But yeah, unfortunately, we don't get our nutrients from our food anymore.
No, yeah, I've one thing I have noticed is I do get a headache if I was I was taking too much vitamin D and I got a headache. So
D?
I D3 and K2 mixed.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was giving me a headache, and I think it's just because there's more sun down there. But just there's just a ton of stuff. So I started doing that. I started exercising, and then how old was I? I was in my mid 30s, and about 12, 13 years later, then I got laid off from my job, and I was one of those guys. I was like my dad. I was one of those guys. You work hard, you do the best you can. If you can figure out a better way to do something, you do it, and only if it's like approved by the boss, of course. But you're always striving for quantity and efficiency and quality all at the same time. Well, when I got laid off a year or two later, what happened to me? Well, another thing they found out about people that got AFib at young ages, you get congestive heart failure.
Mm,
So I got congestive heart failure really bad,
yeah.
and they were telling me I had to have a heart transplant.
Oh, wow.
And what I did was I couldn't drink coffee. I checked the coffee thing and I checked decaf when I was in the hospital. I was in the hospital for a month for that. I
Wow.
couldn't breathe. I couldn't go number one. I was full of 60 pounds of liquid, which they took out in 4 days. Uh, I couldn't stay awake or fall asleep. I couldn't talk to you and stay awake. until the end of a sentence. It was terrible. I was flatlining. Put it this way, that machine on the wall that yells when they need to come running, I figured out why it was yelling. And I was either VTAC, which is a really fast beat. It's like your left ventricle. It's my resting pulse rate was 135 beats a minute.
Whoa. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
that's
flying.
my heart was weak, and so it wasn't beating right. And what had happened was I had a combination of things all cascading that, you know, so there was a mineral deficiency, potassium, calcium, sodium, and magnesium. Well, calcium was fine, but the other three were low, and the potassium was the one. Potassium can be very bad. And leading up to that, I had broken my ankle. And so I was stuck on the couch and I was thirsty. And I thought, well, let me drink more water. Well, all that, but I wasn't. And I was taking hard bad stuff. It's supposed to be really bad for you. Anyway, I wasn't going number one. I was drinking all this water. I wasn't going number one. Didn't put two and two together. A lot of people do this. You hear about people having to go in and get drained. Well, it's just as much on the person. See, I say this because of me. It's just as much on the person to stop drinking liquids if you're not going number one as it is on the doctor. Because if you don't, you get heart failure.
Wow.
It's too much. You just fill up, you
You're
know?
building all those toxins and they're not going out where they need to, and it poisons your body and you're in disease.
You're right. And the main thing, what really is bad about it is that you fill up with so much water that your sodium and your potassium drop. And if your potassium goes out of normal range, you can have cardiac arrest. And those, and then the magnesium, you don't, you never rest because your heart's beating fast. You're not breathing right. You're full of liquids and you'll get fluid on your lungs too. My lungs were like making a weird, like buzzing, growling sound when I would eat. It was really,
Vibrating, yeah, because it fills with water and so, yeah, because I'm taking this Ayurveda class, so I love you explaining your situation because it helps bring in understanding of what they're trying to teach me, and it's so imperative that our organs are working, and when our body yells at us, we disconnect. We're all in our heads and forget, but unfortunately, through trauma, we end up connecting again.
well, I had a bad tooth. I was taking too much ibuprofen. I was taking Prilosec. Ibuprofen for people that have had AFib or have any kind of heart issue, they should not be taking it. I was told not to take ibuprofen, to take Tylenol, and I was also told to take it at a lower dose. But anyway, I was in organ failure, all three,
Mm,
liver, but the heart was the worst one. The liver, they got me back by giving me this really gross tasting stuff every day for about 2 weeks. It went, my liver numbers went back. My kidney numbers it's taken over 10 years for
wow.
my kidneys to come back.
To
And
read
part of
that.
that was because I was so worried about holding fluids that I wasn't drinking enough fluids, which can cause you to have high creatinine. And I was eating a high protein diet. And so once one doctor said, "Oh, well, do you eat a high protein diet? You eat low carb?" And I'm like, "Yeah." And they're like, "Oh, okay. Don't worry
But then
about a thing."
ketosis or something, or explain. I don't understand.
One way you can do it. No, but okay. When your body processes protein, it breaks it all the way down into creatinine. Creatinine, INE, you've got you've
Mm,
got you've got all those enzymes, right?
yeah.
You've got the essential enzymes, they break down creatinine, and then they use it. And if you've got excess, it comes out in your urine. And so that's where or in your blood, they find it in your blood. Now, if you just drink more water, it won't show up as being excess. And so I was so worried about holding water. I'm over here because I ballooned up to 205 after I got heart failure within about 2 years.
Mm,
Because I'm almost 5'11. I was 5'11. I'm 5'10 and a half. That's still too heavy for a guy like me because I have his swimmer's build, and so I'm light for my height. So 165 or 175 is where I should be.
Mm.
So I was drinking less, and my doctor tells me limit your fluids. So I not only did I have to take water pills, I had to limit my fluids, and because for me, I can overdrink them very easily. That was part of the problem. Was when I would get thirsty, I would wait too long, and then literally go chug down a whole quart of water or more all at once. And that's bad because it flushes out those vital minerals I was talking about, the potassium. It'll
Mm.
put potassium and sodium deficiency. If you're, maybe when you're a young kid, you could do that. So anyway, I got over that by following the doctor's instructions, limiting my fluids, cutting my calories down to lower than a normal person. See, a lot of people, they get a health issue and it's like, oh, I'm only eating 1,500 and I'm still not losing weight and I'm heavy and eat less. Not eating less enough.
Yeah.
If anybody out there hears this and it can't figure out why they're not losing weight, is because they're still eating too much.
Yeah. Or not the right food and it's
Yeah,
holding on.
and it's hormonal. It's still not your fault though.
Yeah.
Our food chain is
Messed
it's
up.
it's not good.
That's the
So
hardest part is like trying to learn, you have to advocate for yourselves in these systems. And then here it's through this that you've learned, that those foods, that pyramid is so wrong.
upside down.
Yeah, it's totally upside down.
So what I found lately, I've been trying. I'm down to. I did it again. I went up to 204 again, but I'm 12 pounds less than that right now, and I'm not. I don't look too heavy, but I'm still heavier
You
than I should.
feel better.
Yeah, and plus being down here in Texas, there's a lot of really bad allergies, and I have allergies. And I did other stuff when I was a kid. I did. Oh man! So not only was the ibuprofen and the other things I mentioned, but I used to drink too much beer. And when I was a kid, we used to shoot pellet guns. And I didn't want whatever we were shooting at to get away, so I carried the pellet in my mouth.
Oh,
Duh. That's lead poisoning.
yeah. Metal, heavy metals.
It's heavy metal. All you got to do is handle it too much. And then when we were kids, is oh, so and so was breaking
Thermometer.
thermometers and pouring out the mercury. It's really neat. You should try it.
Yeah, I remember all those moments. We didn't touch
We,
it, but I knew.
I did. I held a puddle of mercury in my hand and was going like that and thought it was neat and then threw it away.
Oh,
But
wow.
so shortly after that, I started getting in trouble at school all the time. And then I broke both wrists, you know? And it's like, it made my bones brittle. So
Uh,
I found some protocols for detoxing heavy metals.
you
That's
want to
one of
share
them.
that?
I will after we get to wherever
Okay.
I was. So when I first got heart failure, they said, well, we're not going to give you a heart transplant unless you can show 6 months of sobriety. Go to AA and have this. Well, I'm not supposed to. It's supposed to be an anonymous program, but I went to a program, okay, and had my paper signed. Maybe you can dub out where I said, but it's live, so probably too late by now.
It's okay. We're all anonymous here. No.
Anyway,
Uh,
so I got
thank you for sharing your
here.
well variety.
I got 14 years in that. Haven't touched anything, and then uh, well, a year, and then so I started walking. My sisters, discharged. When all this happened, I was in the city renting a room, and they wanted me to discharge a place where people could take care of me. I didn't discharge back up to there because everybody was, the people I was living with and my ex-wife were like, I don't know what, I help no, I don't do that. So it's like, okay, well, I'm not going there. I had to be close enough to the doctors that I was going to at the heart transplant hospital anyway, and they were in San Francisco. So I discharged at my sister's place in Rodeo, and I started. I also had a backpack with an IV. I mean, I was really messed up. I am really lucky that I didn't have the heart transplant or die. I've got a defibrillator now, but I was walking up the steepest hill in town there in Rodeo. It's right behind this grammar school, or there's a grammar school at the top, and there's a baseball diamond at the bottom. And the hill is like in a straight line, it's probably only about 200 yards, but it's like that, you know. So I would walk all the way down Garrettson, come around, and walk down the main drag. I forget what that's called, and then I would walk up this hill, and that would be my daily exercise. I did that every day, and then when they did some testing on me after that, uh, they said I didn't. They asked me why I wanted a heart transplant. Like, what do you mean? I don't want one. You said I had to have one. And they're like, well, we don't think you have to have one anymore. And I was like, what? I started, I was so happy. I started crying and stuff. It was really kind of mind blowing that well, it wasn't just me. It was more like, I was going to say it was mind blowing that I did that. I didn't do it. I'm not the one that did it. Something else did it,
Your the divine spirit within you.
Something, yeah, yeah.
Well, you have
That,
the drive
that,
to live. You're living life daily now instead of, take for granted, right?
yeah, and that's also what helped me to, put down the brewskis and all that, and stuff. So, um, but I still to this day have not improved the numbers called your ejection fraction, and you're going to say, "What's that?" And it's well, if they ever tell you to all the people out there that might hear this, pulse rate and blood pressure are fine, but oh, your ejection fraction is low. You better listen. When they say ejection fraction, you better listen because they don't tell you that one until it's almost too late.
Severe. I don't even know
It's
what it is.
it's a fraction, so there's a percentage, and it's the amount of blood that your left ventricle squirts every time it
Mm.
beats. And since your heart it can never be 100% because your heart is a pump and all pumps need to be primed. So normal is 55 to 75%. And I still get winded a lot because my ejection fraction is only 30 to 40. They didn't give me an exact number. So I'm
Okay.
below, but I do push ups. I mow my lawn. I've got a big yard. I was able to, even being disabled, I was able to buy a piece of property with a brand new manufactured home on it. I'm just, not in the
Steward
greatest
in the
neighborhood.
land.
Yeah, I mean, it's hotter than heck here, but it's like Reading, but adding a month in the beginning and a month at the end of the heat,
Oh,
maybe
yeah,
two.
it's hot.
It's pretty freaking hot down here, man. You got to be careful with this stuff.
But
So
good
anyway,
to know about, endurance and how to condition your heart, right? Because it's needed there even more with that climate.
well, I've tried and tried and tried and to increase my endurance with my legs. And you know what? I can increase it with push ups,
Hmm.
but I can't. My ejection fraction is still the same. It went from 20% when I was real sick to 30 to 40%. And I can't get it any higher. I've tried everything. I kept hiking up hills. I was going on big hikes with people from the meetings after the meetings every day and blah blah blah. And I just but I do enough push-ups to get really winded and then uh that keeps my weight down. The first time I gained up I'm on my third time now. I got to quit falling off because I gained back weight too easy. But my first time, I lost weight in my sleep. I just cut calories and cut them some more and then cut them some more. And I lost 55 pounds in 5 months. And then the second time I did the same amount of weight, I lost 55 pounds in a year. This time it's even harder and it's taken me forever just to get down 10 or 15 pounds. But a lot of it's water. And so when I was getting down that low, I was a little dehydrated. So my creatinine was showing high. But now my kidney numbers are totally normal. Everybody gets told that once you get chronic kidney disease, that it never gets better. Well, I was stage something of chronic, I don't even remember the number. I was in chronic kidney disease and I'm not anymore.
I love that.
There's too much stuff. Just frankly, it's wrong, you know? So you were asking me what was,
Let's see, there's a few things. So one, heavy metal detox, two, how to pick salt. And then one of my last questions will be, what does sacred mean to you? But let's talk about heavy metal detox because I think that's something people don't even realize how much they're carrying in heavy metals.
everybody has a toxic load to an extent these days, is what the statistics show. And it's not always lead and mercury. It could be cadmium. If you're a smoker, you're going to be way high in cadmium. And everybody's got aluminum in them now. It wasn't something that happened. And it's not from putting foil on your food.
I
If you just
know. It's unfortunately we make it rain.
if you just look up,
I
that's
am.
what you know.
Actually, I just read 75% of the rainwater collected in the Midwest is pesticides, filled with pesticides too. It's so sad. That's
And
why we're here. Make it sacred again.
yeah, wheat makes me like all in pain and shaky, and because of the Roundup, because they use it as a desiccant. So they spray it with Roundup because it's a GMO wheat, or maybe it's not. I don't know. Well, the
It
corn's
is.
GMO.
Everything's pretty much they try to make it so they own all the seeds. Who owns the seeds owns life, and that's why it's so important we protect our seeds. Heirloom food.
So one of the ways you can detox is the first one I discovered, and it'll kick it right out of you, is go down and buy some organic. First, you get the oh, I keep forgetting the name of this green drink.
Oh,
The
okay.
chelator. You can either use charcoal or this green drink for a chelator. Where did I put it? It's right here. Come on ahead, find it. Chlorella.
Oh, okay.
So you can use that, or you can use charcoal. And what you do is you want to consume that like 2 hours or an hour and a half before the cilantro seed. And what that does is it goes through you and it gets right to the end of your duodenum. It's part of your. It goes into your intestines. And it comes from your liver. Excuse me. So you want your chelator right there, and then what I think is either homemade bone broth or some store bought, the good jelly kind, if you can find it. Some of the store bought's jelly, some of it's, but some of it's not. And take a whole bowl of damn, it's my mind, cilantro. Chop it up fine, boil it in that for a while. You can either strain it, stem and all. You can either strain it or you can eat the cilantro in it. And it's not going to be, you can put a dash of salt and vinegar if you want. And I recommend using good natural sea salts or even sea salts are said to have stuff in them. Uh, pink salt. Pink salt comes from deposits that are above ground that have been buried for thousands of years. Pink salt's a good clean one. Malden salt, Redmond's real salt. So there's your salts you want to use. I'll get to my salt story in a minute. But so, and then organic apple cider vinegar in the bone broth. These are all really good for you. You put that, and then you drink the soup, and then an hour or two later after that, you want to go down, you want to get you some magnesium, this pure magnesium. I like to use Epsom salts. It's not the scented kind because it's cheap. You can get an 8 pound bag for less than $8. And you just take 2 teaspoons of that. It's not scented. It says you could use it for a soak for sore back or your feet or whatever, or you could use it as a saline laxative. And so 2 heaping teaspoons of that in a glass of water, stir it up until you don't see crystals anymore. Down that, and then go to the bathroom. And what'll happen is it'll pull. See, you're storing it in your brain, you're storing it in your joints, you're storing the lead inside your freaking bones. That's why I broke so many bones when I was young. And it'll pull it. And then you'll just go to the bathroom. You'll go number 2 and it'll come out. The first time I did that, the first time I used a whole bundle, it actually made me sick. And I retoxed. I had so much stored in the safe spots that it goes out and it'll like
Opens
repoison.
up. Yeah, you're exposed to it again.
Yeah, it'll repoison you. And
Wow.
so I was like, whoa. So now what I do is I haven't done it that way. There's another one I'll touch on in a second. But now what I do is I just use the laxative because when you throw up, it could come out the other end just as easy. And so it's like when people get stomach flu and you've been around them, your family, everybody's throwing up with stomach flu. You know what you should do is you should go take a laxative.
I just
Get
get it out.
You'll just get it out of you. Whatever it is, you'll poop it out and you
Yeah.
won't throw up on somebody else. I've
Yeah.
even done it. How come you didn't throw up? And you said you had a fever. And it's like, well, I took a laxative. And they were like all mad at me because I figured something.
You thought outside the box? What the heck?
But anyway, so yeah, that's one way. And then another way is there's zeolite, clay, and bentonite.
Yeah, I've used that for my son and I didn't tell anyone. He got injured. And so then I used that. The school didn't know how to deal with him. And then I it was the whole summer and then he went back to school or something. It was a period of time. And then they were like, "Did you do something different?" And I was like, "Yeah, I did a heavy metal detox on him." Share with your
Your voice just went away.
Yeah, share what your knowledge with the bentonite clay and the others mentioned. Oh, sorry. Dogs.
I just started using zeolite 2 months ago, and I bought a big can of the best stuff they have. And instead of using it like they said, I just like put 5 big heaping scoops in my thing and down it with some vinegar. I drink apple cider vinegar and water every morning. That's also a kidney plant cleanse purification. It'll keep you from having kidney stones. A lot of people don't know. I do so much stuff. I'm doing so much stuff
It's a
because I don't.
ritual.
Huh?
It's a daily ritual
It's a
honoring your
little
life.
other thing I do, and I'll add in this and that. And if it doesn't work, but anyway, you know what the zeolite did? It was better than the. I believe I kicked my toxic load down real hard those first few times I did cilantro. But then the zeolite, you do it every day. And I didn't get any adverse effect at all. In fact, my results were instantly better, less pain. My back doesn't, if my back's not out, it doesn't hurt. It used to hurt all the time. This one spot in my back had, like, within the last few years, it started hurting all.
Yelling
It's
at
like,
you, telling you to pay attention to it.
yeah,
You must have
well,
figured.
yeah, paying attention to your body, following your gut, not listening to bad advice. It's really hard to do. There's too much bad advice. People think that they're helping you when they tell, and they don't even know. Nobody knows what you've gone through except you. Nobody's walked through your shoes. And if you got a gut feeling about something, either doing it or not doing it, well, do what your gut feeling says.
Yeah.
So okay, now the zeolite's really good stuff, and it's great for kids. And the reviews on it were all really good. And you just down it. It doesn't have any taste. It's a little bit gritty, and it's volcanic, and it's
Oh,
cellular. It's negatively charged, and its cellular structure is like a cage on the molecular level. And so it will pull the toxins. For some reason, it doesn't pull anything good out of you.
Yeah, I gotta love nature, man. It's so interesting when we can figure out these little, that's what, the medicine's there. We just need to learn how to use it.
It's all that, you know, for all this, I don't know. I don't want to get in trouble with the Facebook gods or anybody that may or may not be listening that's way up on the monetary level, but the
Sensors,
whole, huh?
the sensors.
Yeah, the whole way our modern medicine and food came about wasn't really on the up and up. I mean, people are getting rich coming and going. They're doing their studies. The studies are done by people that are their
Paying
grants are
for it.
funded. Yeah, it's just it's not.
Everything's like a big lie. There's a good book. It was The 100-Year Lie. That one opened my eyes a lot. I was like,
Yeah,
wow, everything's backwards.
right. The 100-year lie. Boy, is that ever right. So, but anyway, on the pink salt, some of my friends from the meetings were like, "Oh, I heard you're a good cook." Blah blah blah. And I'm like, "Well, yeah, on the stuff that I've practiced with. I mean, I'm Italian. I mean, so."
It's in my nature. We Italians make great food. I'll come eat. No.
He's all, "Well, could you make an omelet for me and my husband? We got a million eggs. So and so's giving me eggs from their chickens and blah blah." So I went over there. We made some. We stopped at the store and got some sausage, some Italian sausage, and I just sauteed up some mushrooms and sausage and garlic and onions and a little spinach and put some grated cheese in there with it. And the only salt she had was pink salt, and that was the first time I used it. I'm like, well, I'm supposed, and the thing with my from the doctors, they I can use Google to add salt is in everything naturally, and then if I need to add more to where I get 4,000 milligrams a day, then I can do it like that. And but now I just use pink salt. I
Well,
just do
back
it to
up a little
taste.
bit. Your internet broke up. So, uh, she introduced you to the pink salt and then it broke up and you said how you can track how many milligrams. I missed that middle part.
Well, anyway, when I used the pink salt, I felt really good. And then the way the heart failure doctors told me that I needed salt because of my fluid balance problem, because of these things.
Oh, yeah,
My
and you
water,
absorb it. Yeah.
I got my last two pills. My water pills take it away. They take salt and potassium away.
Oh,
Um, and I've always been deficient in magnesium until recently. Now I take it every night. Um, and so I'm supposed to get 4,000 milligrams a day. And they told me to calculate that with naturally occurring in my food. Just look at the sodium on the back, your nutrition information, the
mhm.
sodium part. So, and like weigh to make sure you're getting how many servings. And because I used to be 7,000 calories a day when I was younger. Can you believe that? I never gained a pound.
Yeah, it's interesting. Most don't realize how much we really consume, but it's not even like, and it doesn't have the minerals. It's not good.
Well, mine was half of that was food and the other half was cerveza.
Yeah, I guess
Well,
that
half a
helps.
day, that's 3,000 calories.
Yeah.
And then I had jobs where I was like, I was flying the press, or I worked in Alaska for a little while and I always ate more than everybody else. And I just have had, when I was younger, I had a really fast metabolism. Now it's the exact opposite. Now I only need 12 to 800 calories a day if I want to continue slowly losing weight.
Mm,
I want to hold 13. I held weight eating 1,300 calories for the last few months. That's nothing.
yeah.
But where was I? So yeah, I was calculating all that, and I was using table salt, and I was like, every now and then I put a little too much in. I'd be like, it's making my heart pound.
Uh,
And I already knew when I was in my 30s, they said, well, you have a food allergy, do a food elimination diet. And then I questioned my doctor enough times to get him to actually finally say that, well, it's not necessarily the food, it's something in the food. And I was like, all right,
Yeah.
chemicals. Okay, we know, you know. So,
Yeah.
but now I just, do my food to taste. And with pink salt. Oh,
You're
that
in
reminds
tune with your body. It yelled at you so much, it's like, hey, we came in this experience to embody. You want to drag it along or be part of it?
So I'm doing heavy metal detoxes almost every single day. I make sure that I don't cut my salt too much. Mentally kind of keeping a note on how many fluids I get, but I need more down here because it's hot most of the time. But this time of year, I'm like way down on my fluids. Um, and I'm taking more water pills than I was because the first, I don't know, 5 or 10 pounds of weight I lost was all liquids and
Yeah.
stuff. And another thing, I said something about enzymes, and I wanted to show you something. I know we're
Okay.
running out of time, aren't we?
Now we have some
We're,
time. I have about a half hour.
um, I mentioned that the chiropractors said enzymes and probiotics. Well, when I was in my 30s, I was taking that shotgun of enzymes and probiotics that they sell at GNC. It's just like a blast of all of them,
Oh,
both, and that was just a pill. But now I can't afford to buy, $100 a month in supplements and protein, or more than that, in protein powder. So
yeah.
what I do is I ferment my own vegetables. So
I love that.
let me find these. I have sauerkraut here.
Lovely. Yes,
That
take
I
us through the process.
And it's a salt brine. And basically, what I do is I use the juice over again for a starter. And you put in a tablespoon of pink salt. And if it's not, if the pink salt you're getting is coarse, just run it through a coffee grinder or grind it up
Yeah,
somehow in a
crush it.
vessel.
Yeah.
But a tablespoon per pound of the vegetables, and then you top it off, and you use big cabbage wedges or leaves to push it down below the level. And then these heart pills, when I first started taking them, I couldn't go to the bathroom. And the doctor wanted to prescribe me with stuff to make me go number two that's a chemical, and I didn't want to do it. So I told him, can I just eat hot peppers? They were like, sure. So now here's another. Well, let me just get these out because I did this on purpose just for you. I was like, I
I
need to,
love it.
there. Okay, the glare was too much. I was like, I need to take and ferment some of my habaneros before they spoil. And then I was looking at the counter. I was like, hey, this is perfect. When I'm supposed to meet with Millie, that these should be fermented.
I love it. Thank
I
you.
have a batch right here. Notice I'm not reaching in the fridge this time. Oh, okay,
Oh,
it's trying to leak.
it's
Here,
beautiful.
wait. So there's red on top. See the bubbles?
Yeah.
Maybe you can't see. I
I
open
kind of
this.
see the
I
bubbles
haven't even
up.
burped it. Look at that lid. Oh, can you see that? Look at
Blowing up.
it's like there's
Good.
four stuff. Let me see if I can prop my phone up right where there's no glare and you can see this.
Okay.
And
It's
then I'll pick it up.
beautiful. Look at all the color.
So that's the red cabbage that's getting it. There is a couple of ghost peppers in here that will make it more red, but here we go.
Awesome. Ooh, I wish I could smell it. Yum.
See
So
the
remind
bubbles?
us what you put in there again.
Hold on. Woo!
Gotcha.
Wow, that's fun. Oh, even the brine. Woo.
Breathe it in.
That'll wake you up.
Gotta love it.
But there's some medicinal stuff, the hot peppers. I don't care what anybody says.
Yeah,
I might
capsaicin. There's all kinds of good stuff in there. It helps with weight. and
Yeah.
metabolism.
Yeah. Cayenne is the one that's really got a lot of good stuff. So what I did with this batch, let me just
Hmm.
dehydrate a little. Wow, it's still bubbling. You probably can't see that. There's the turnarounder button.
Hmm. I don't know
I
how that
can't find
works.
it.
There might be like
Come
a
on.
camera with the circles.
I did, but it took it away.
It can work.
Anyway, it wouldn't work.
No.
I,
Take a picture, post it in the video chat box thing later.
I could, huh?
Yeah, not now. It might
Um,
mess up with the Zoom going.
wow, there sure is. There's more bubbles. That's perfect. It's going in the fridge now. Okay, so what it is there's less than 2 pounds. It's about a pound and a half of habaneros. And then I didn't weigh the red cabbage up here for my sinker. So for every pound of vegetables in there, there's a tablespoon plus a little of salt and a dash of organic apple cider vinegar. Down here, for some reason, I'm not getting the lactic acid I was getting when I lived in San Pablo. So I have to put a dash of vinegar in there because
Mm,
you want your acid up to at least 4.5 pH. I don't measure my pH. I just taste it.
you could tell, yeah, if it's too, you know
Right.
that. Yeah.
You'll get mold. You'll get a problem. You'll get a problem if it's not. And there's a lot of back in when was it, the 70s or 80s? People were screaming botulism. Oh, botulism, naturally
I-
fermented.
Rebel canning we do.
It's such a load of crap. I've done nothing but felt excellent. And I even bought some high quality probiotics and took apart a pill, sprinkled a little in. My
Yeah.
last batch of brine, then I kept going for years. And so I just keep using the brine for a starter. And if you want, you can enhance it with, bacteria cultures. Don't use like a dip of yogurt or anything because that'll
Yeah.
ruin it.
Oh,
I
that
tried
was
that one.
thing. Yogurt. I just learned how to make homemade yogurt. I've never made it yet, though. You want to share what your knowledge is with that?
I've never made it, but one would imagine that if you can get a good batch of non-pasteurized raw whole milk yogurt from like a raw milk seller
Well, so what
somewhere.
I learned was you can get lemon or a chili. And this woman, what I watched, she put two batches, one with the lemon and one with the chili, and then the whole milk or like as not whatever as raw as you can get ideally, but if you can't, you're gonna get what you get. And then she did a water bath. And so the chili, she was like, it doesn't taste like chilies, but the enzymes and the bacteria or something in there. So you're gonna have to make this and see if it works. If you like yogurt, you got the chilies. And then what you do, I'll send you the video. You, uh, she had both in a container, poured the milk on it, and then she put it in like a bath, a water bath. And so she used a cooler and put the two containers in the cooler and then used hot water and then closed the cooler so that it would warm up the enzymes and things. And then we're
Yeah,
gonna have to do this. I don't remember exactly what'd you say.
don't you maintain a certain temperature, like 80 degrees or something?
Yeah, I don't remember all the details, so that we're gonna have to make this a fun project and share. I've
Oh, wait,
asked
no, it's got to be less. Cheese is 80, and cheese, you see, cheese is
goes
it's a
higher.
warmer. Yeah.
It was
My
pretty
mom put it in the
impressive.
cupboard in the summertime and didn't even worry about it. And I don't know what, Rich, don't. So there's your acid, right? Lemon or pepper. That's your
Now,
acid. But Where did she get the bacteria? Because you have
It
to introduce.
creates, well, I don't know if it's from the milk she poured in, but something, I'll send you the video because it's impressive. Because she was saying, why do I have to go find a culture? You know, because you go buy it, a yogurt culture. And it's like, so she investigated how to create it through the lemon and the chili, was what she was told her. Some of her people told her that. And so then she showed the video of her doing it and she tasted the two, and the lemon had more of a yogurt, like what we're accustomed to flavor. The chili, she said, didn't taste the spice at all, but it had a more firm gel than the lemon yogurt did. So it was more, yeah, it was more kind of like tofu-y, but not so thick. But yeah,
I've seen videos. Oh, go ahead if you're not
I'm done.
done. The healthiest yogurt is the Bulgarian because it's got, what is it, Bulgaricus something or other is bacteria culture in it.
Ah,
And I seen a video of this family that was like my family used to be, a couple hundred years ago. They lived on the side of the Alps to where they were, not up in the snow or way up there. And they had a cow and they had milked the cow, and some of the milk they drank. And by the end of the day, there was milk, and they, I guess, don't even really need a fridge because they make cheese, they make yogurt, and
butter,
they cure hams, and they salami, and yeah, so
as you need it.
they right. And so what they did was they took yesterday's yogurt. That was their starter. They
Yeah.
just took a tablespoon of yesterday's yogurt, put it in their jar, stirred it up, wrapped it up in like a, a first she put a thing. Now she even used a rubber band. She just wrapped it up in this towel, and so it would stay dark, and set it in the sun during the day. And then when the sun went down, they put it in the cupboard in the house. One of the cupboards that's near their fireplace because they're burning wood for heat. And, and by the next day, they got yogurt again.
That's, yeah, see,
Or
ways, man. I love that we're preserving these things.
they sell a Bulgarian yogurt, but it's out of the grocery store and everything. Did you know that when you pasteurize yogurt, you're pretty much killing all the cultures?
Yeah, I know. That's where the whole grocery store I can't deal with anymore. It sucks. But we do have some natural ones more in this area, and then the local community supported agriculture CSAs, so we get, good food there. But not everybody, as I was telling you, I have friends in the mountains in the snow, and it's like, well, grow your sprouts during that time in your house, and eat those sprouts. But it's hard because there's so much confusion. So it's like, let's bring it back to basics. That's what I really enjoy learning from you. Oh, you cut out.
Never think you can't do something.
Word. I hear that.
I haven't done it. You could buy the canning jars. You could buy a screen lid that goes under your ring instead of the canning lid. You can buy sprouting broccoli. You put some in there, you put some purified water, you stir it around, you drain off the excess, and then there's a certain way you want to set your jar, I can't remember, and
And
you put it in the jar.
yeah, I've
And
been
you Yeah, and you just make sprouts in a jar. I was
like little bombs of beautiful nutrients, and then some of my sprouts actually grew roots, and so then I planted them. So I'm growing some.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and it's pretty cool. But your video is cutting up.
You know what? It is. I
Yeah.
got a whole, let me get router. I got a
Okay.
whole yard full of dandelion greens. I was putting dandelion greens in my salad for a while there too, but they're a little bit much. You better be constipated before you eat this.
Yeah. Everything in
Before
moderation.
it's- Huh?
Everything in
Yeah,
moderation.
just use a few leaves.
Well, I'm going to lay the question on you. So,
What's
what does
that?
sacred mean to you? What
Oh
is
yeah, that's
sacred?
me. Wow. trusting my gut. When I get when I get something that says that you better not go here or you should go there, I need to listen to it, or you need to eat or drink a certain way, or need to avoid certain situations. Um, and I believe in God, and so sacred is God to me. You can call it what it is, but there's something up there that's in charge of stuff. And I also try to I try to live right. I don't I follow a set of rules that gives me good karma, I believe. you know, and that's that's basically it in a nutshell, right there.
I love it.
You know,
What I heard from you is you trust your inner knowing, and that you, through this conversation, explained how through, tragedy of health and that crisis helped you to really honor embodying your wholeness of yourself, and that you had then one, I recognize my dogs are all crazy. I was hold on. Hey.
now you're breaking up.
Okay. But what I was saying is that I am grateful for your message, because if you hadn't went through your healing journey and recognized, the confusion that we all are facing, or being able to be resourceful to find ways to continue to be healthy when it's not always affordable, we think, and how it connected you back to nature, as far as when you clean your system, then you can actually listen to your head, your heart, and your gut, and they're all speaking to us. And then we have our divine guidance, creator, or she comes with many names, so that's where I think and our ancestors, we have that innate wisdom and knowledge with us, guiding us. And I'm so grateful how you honored that and connected with yourself, and being willing to even share it with me. I learned a lot today. Thank you.
You know what? You know what else? You're not going to get that connection if you're full of heavy metals and fluoride. So purify your water.
Thank you.
I
That's
have been
great.
purifying my water since, when was that? The 2000s, about 2000. I started running a purifier. And another thing is there's a supplement you can take. It's called boron. Uh, or you can buy the food grade tetrahydra something or other borohydrate or whatever it is, sodium tetrahydroboron or something, whatever. And you just put, I call it a scamp, but it's like a 64th of a teaspoon. So it's like the tip of a steak knife, just
Uh,
a teeny bit. Just tip that in your water. Or if you're like me, I scoop up my own pills. I take each half and I in the magnesium and
uh-huh.
I pop that at, they're like triple zeros. I've got, they're huge horse pills, but I got used to taking big pills when they were, oh, double zero, these ones.
Oh, okay.
Uh,
Oh, and you just, oh, see, I see. And you put it
and
in.
then here's, I've got some of my uh, magnesium sulfate in a bag. I swear that's what it is.
Yeah, no,
But
we got to clean it out so we could. I'm glad you mentioned that, because it's hard to connect and relate when we're like you highlighted, it goes into places that we don't realize how it impacts our ability of being, like it softened their bones or created, like for my son, it made him hyperactive.
I had a lot of trouble. Oh my God. I was getting in fights every day after that. And it was like, oh, something's wrong with Eddie and we don't know what it is. Well, Eddie didn't know what it was either until he grew up and remembered that he was a big dummy when he was a little kid.
We didn't know
Anyway, oh,
everything. We don't know everything. You're not a dummy.
so, but here's, if I can get him in there, here's my habaneros. That's one big pot full. And then
Look how
that
gorgeous.
hedge there, I know they're going to make it till Christmas. Now, I
Yeah.
wish I could successfully turn my camera around, but let me go like this and just.
Yeah,
Oh, you're not gonna see them.
the
I
little,
haven't picked in a few days.
I see a
They're
one.
just all full.
Yeah, I see them.
Here's
How pretty.
here's some ghost peppers. I wonder if they're red yet. Where'd they go? I've been waiting forever. Here's some big.
Oh, wow. Yeah, that's cool.
I had to hand pollinate these things. We weren't getting any pollinators.
We need to protect those bees.
Oh my God. Back in the mid 90s when they first started talking about GMO, first thing off my head was you're going to kill the bees. And I told my ex-wife, and she tried to say I was out of my mind. And now it's took them 30 years. But this is why, because you've got a genetically modified product. It's basically not something that their bodies recognize anymore, let alone ours.
Yeah,
And it's sprayed with Roundup. And they collect the pollen and they feed their babies off it. Duh.
yeah,
It's
and
poisoning them.
the
Say it's
seeds,
this
they're
or
putting it in the seeds, the chemical compounds, so then they are pest resistant. And then we eat that. It's so, gosh, I get so upset about it, but I'm enlightened and I'm inspired because that's why everybody has there's this misnomer that you can't be healthy unless you have money, and it's not true. And we just bring it back to basics, like you said, the starter, like the apple cider vinegar, you could have an abundance of that. You just keep making it. You could take the ends of your food and grow them, and we just forget, or we forgot how to live without, suppliers.
well, and another thing is as we get older, it's like, do we really need to eat that much? No.
True, and yeah, that's all part of the commerce racket. Just like the milk industry and the lumber industry and the food industry.
Oh, I
Oh,
was going to say,
everything's about commerce.
yeah, I was going to say something. There's actually a raw milk dairy not far from here. I've never made it by there. I've been wanting to. They only deal in cash, but they deal on the honor system. You go in, you pay your money, and you take your gallon of milk. It's like $9 a gallon. It's totally raw out of their cows, and they've got a bunch of other food. They've got eggs, and they're just over like probably 10 miles from here. Not real far, seven
Well,
miles.
if you're so inspired, make us some chili yogurt. I would love to see
I'll
how
have
that
to.
works out.
I, I guess I should do more research on whether I really need a starter or not.
I'm gonna send you
I'm
the
just
video.
looking. Okay, I'm admiring these. Wow, I shake the jar and it just bubbles away.
It's so
I
pretty.
should leave this on.
I,
Yeah, I'm gonna. What's funny is here. Look, another thing about this: when you use enough salt and vinegar and your acid content is right, last year's habaneros and they're fine.
yep.
I can blend these into hot sauce. I could chop some, or actually, I chop a half of one into a big bowl of salsa, or sometimes
Mm.
I throw them in something and leave them whole and then pick them back out when it's done, just to, because they're too hot by themselves.
Oh, I
And
know.
then also, when I'm in here, I have to show you. I make my own hot sauce. It's settled a little on the bottom, but the top
Yeah,
is still thick.
yeah.
But that's just a glass pickle jar, and that you dunk the tip of your pinky in that and taste it, and
You be all your stuff comes out. It'll clean
it's
you.
yeah. Well, see, I think uh, that's why the lead and mercury caused me to have brittle bones and to get heart failure later in life. It was one of the contributing factors. There's plenty of other things that led to that, but that's part of the reason why I didn't die, because I still liked to eat foods that made me feel good. And most of them were plant based, or if you're talking meats, if you want to know what meat I can eat and feel good right after and literally feel it like almost like a drug, salmon.
Yeah, I know. Salmon is sacred. There's some good stories on salmon.
Yeah.
magical spirit that helps us all.
Well, that's why they're there. They're high in vitamin D. And right when the sun's going away, you live in those northern climates, they just happen to be swimming up the river right in those areas where you're too far north to get it from the sun anymore.
No, it's a blessing when we understand the beauty of the food and how it is here to keep us healthy and, that balance within our systems. And that's what I don't know if you're familiar with Ayurveda, but I just dug into it and it was saying how we like I'm finally studying it more, but you want to have the six tastes on your plate every night to have a balanced diet, and the six tastes are salt, sweet, pungent, astringent, and there's two I can't remember because my brain doesn't work when I try too hard. But it's really cool to learn these different ways. And, when my kids are Sicilian, and so I recognize they weren't learning my native ways and they didn't they're disconnected, and I was like, oh well, I better go look into my Sicilian roots, or for them, so I understand. It's again, everybody goes back to a clan, man. Everybody comes from some indigenous culture that we have it in us, and it's unfortunate we have to wait for tragedy, but that's how I learned, unfortunately. But the beauty of it is, here you are, here I am, and I'm so grateful that we get to have these conversations because of your journey learning food and what is sacred or being.
I've heard of Ayurveda and I've heard of that. One of my friends from down in the East Bay,
Yeah.
but it's like umami, everything flavored, right?
Well, so it's a practice, it's an ancient practice from like 3000 before Christ, and it's popular in Indian culture and the other Indians, not natives, but ironically, uh, everything that's what the beauty of life and humanness is, we all have the same machine body kind of thing that we need to keep well tuned, and as we support it, it will support us. But we had to relearn because everything's been commercialized, in our country. So we have to find the truth in this stuff.
Well, as kids, you can eat that crap for a while there, but if there's anything else that gets introduced into your body that's worse or bad, or you do it a lot, what's going to happen is you're gonna you're gonna have to have a reawakening,
The compound
and
effect.
that's
Yeah.
right. You're gonna something's got to happen to where something bad happens and you realize you need to change. I was able to just do a little, well, actually not just a little, but just work out up until about my 40s. I quit bench pressing because my shoulders,
Mm.
but the chiropractor gave me a piece of paper with a list of stretches, and one of those ones is where you twist your arms like this up in front of
Yeah.
you.
Cobra thing.
That one. Yeah. I never, always feel muscle tension, but across back around here and the back of my neck and over here. Another thing, if I do that, then I'm so much better and I can probably press again. When I was with my daughter and her husband closer to San Antonio, they had 50-pound dumbbells, and I was actually able to do bench press with a
Yeah.
50 pounder in each. That's a lot. That's like a young dude. I
Yeah.
haven't done that since.
There, that's the thing. Our bodies, I couldn't do it anymore either. But I don't know. That's where I hope my being an example, they'll learn, my kids, there's this lost thing with this new era. There's some, we'll teach them.
Well, it's the hard part is getting, for me, it took an awakening to their sayings that, that you might not know the right from wrong and the way things are these days. But now I notice some people have the ability to spot what's right or wrong right off the bat, whereas others are confused and don't know or may think the wrong is right. You know?
Yeah, I know. And that's where I've had a lot of anger with colonization and how we pay for it as taxpayers and, go to industrialize other countries and we call it good, and being native and, carrying the trauma and the stories. And I recognize, you know, I don't think it's good. I'm not saying I don't want to
Yeah.
help other countries, but that's the hardest part is what causes harm. We don't know. We have a fight over that, what's harmful. But I think it's important we teach people how to fish and teach them how to, like you're doing, be sufficient, self-sufficient and resilient. And with the earth, it provides. We just need to learn how to use it properly and not abuse them.
Well, phones and the internet have been a huge plus and minus.
Yeah.
It's making it where there's more technology that's being used, quote unquote, against us in those of poor age and all. But at the same time, everybody can see this going on. And it's like a big money grab. But now it's just like I said earlier, everybody's.
It broke up. You're frozen. I hear you, but it
Am I,
was, yeah, I wasn't able to
how
see you.
about, how about now?
There, it's a little better. But
Uh,
yeah, that's where it's like we have an opportunity, with these technologies to use our discernment, but when we're so connected with heavy metals, it's sometimes hard to, get into that connection with people and humans, and we forget our way. But the I look at, oh, are you okay?
oh yeah, yeah. Did I break up again? I said the third eye.
Yes, we got to clean it and clarify our senses. And I notice, I don't know if you're familiar with the telepathy tapes, the kids that have been injured by, when they have autism, they've now discovered they've been talking with through telepathy, and people who have never believed in telepathy now do. And so, through that tragedy, we've found triumph. So that's where I have faith, and I trust that we're divinely guided. We're made in the eye of the creator. We are creators, and we'll be able to be provided for, as long as we help restore this balance and keep the balance in
Hey,
ourselves.
not to cut you off, but I guess to cut you off.
Don't
I
worry.
got a story for you. Two stories. They're very brief.
Okay.
On two separate occasions, you talked about telepathy. Well, you don't got to be nonverbal, and I'm not trying to say that I'm
No,
anything.
exactly. Just people don't think they could do it, but I could do it. And you should ask for permission before you go read people's minds. That's for sure. But go ahead.
On two separate occasions, I got a funny feeling that I should pull the car over. And I pulled the car over, and there was a car going the other way, sideways, at about 90 in my lane around a corner. So my gut feeling saved our lives twice. Another time, it was in a prayer. My oldest brother, also got heart failure, and he was a heart transplant recipient, and he died when he was 39, right in front of me. And I gave him CPR, tried to bring him back, but there was no pulse anywhere. I was feeling in all the right places, and his eyes were rolled back in his head. He was gasping. He did not make it, but that's a whole nother big long Zoom meeting. Anyway, and rest his soul, Rich was a great guy. I was standing, this was when I was living in Humboldt County. I was standing on the banks. There was a pull off. I was standing on the banks of the Eel River. It was high and muddy. And I prayed in Jesus' name that Rich would hear my prayer. I said my prayer. I said amen. And I'm staring at the river. And right where I was looking, a river otter popped up and looked me in the eye. Yeah. Oh man. And
That's
that was like, and I always
sacred.
felt that connection, you know.
That's sacred. And
Something's going on.
yeah, they're with us, no matter what your teachings or beliefs, I know my ancestors are with me and I could always pull anyone that's, on the other side, come talk to me. It's just we have to trust, ourselves to be able to relate to them. But those are those beautiful signs from nature that just remind us we are connected. I love that.
Yeah.
And your
And
brother
I've like,
saved you too, your brother saved you too by that experience I see because it brought so much for you to continue living and carrying on these messages of your family. So I thank you.
so you said something about, now I'm going to ask you a question. You said something about asking people's permission before you read their mind.
Sorry, I
Really?
might have read your mind. I didn't mean to. No, just kidding.
No, did you? No, I don't know. No, because I do that. I can read minds.
We
I
all
mean,
can.
I'm not going to like go up and tell you that I'm reading your mind and then read it and be right, but I
No,
can.
we all can. We all have those innate, we have intuition, we have sixth sense, we have the ability to. It's just these heavy metals and things, they limit our ability to, and the way that society is created to take us from our spirit, we gaslight ourselves to thinking we don't. And then there are people, you tap in and they don't, like I was telling my daughter today, she's definitely an empath and she gets it. And I told her, it's not asking permission for just them, it's for yourself. Because if you're walking around picking up everybody's messages, man, it gets real confusing. So
Yeah.
I've had to teach myself boundaries and confirmation and make sure I do. And when you're working with people in that level, you have to ask for permission. Or if you're helping other people clear stuff and you are working like as a surrogate, you still need to get the permission of that spirit to do that
Mine's more of
work.
a defense mechanism.
Yeah, it'll keep you. That's what it's your gut intuition. And it's all aligned. If your gut isn't working right, your brain isn't right, and your heart's not right. And you've been a prime. I love our story time today because it's like it just shows, through your situation. My dog's gonna freak out because she wants food, but it just shows through your triumph. Like that is the truth. If you clear your system, if you connect with your body and embody our spirits, like we came here to do, life is about living. It's that daily practice every day, to be in ritual to protect our temple. I love it.
Yeah. Yep.
I could preach. I'm trying not to. I want to
Yeah.
listen. But I'm gonna
Yeah.
have to leave. I want to do this again. So I'm gonna task you if you're up for it. I'll send you that yogurt stuff and maybe we could share doing it or something. But I love that you're teaching people how you're continuing to be resilient and, honoring your body.
Well, thank you. That would be good. Some of that raw milk would be great for making yogurt out of because maybe that's where the cultures come from.
Yeah, well, in the video it says I think it's the raw milk. It's just the something with like you said the lemon and the chili, they have something in it that creates that culture with the milk. Yeah.
That's where the live active cultures in that I used the starter from before, but all I had to do was use good, clean, bottled, purified water from the store and mix my salt right and put a dash of organic apple cider vinegar, and it made its own live
Yeah.
active cultures. There's that much sediment on the bottom of whatever that particular
Goodness.
strain of.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's good. That's what we've been
So
trained
it's in
to think
the
it's
air and it
not.
settles on the plants.
No, nature provides. Well, I'm so grateful for our time and to be able to really connect with you. We've chatted on the phone and, through all Facebook and everything, but it's so good to see your humanness. And thank you for sharing with all of us because you never know who's tuned in and going through their health issues and what pieces of, divine essence you've left today. We're also grateful. Thank you.
I'm grateful for you all and everybody that's, I mean, I didn't get my own brain. It came from other people and the sky also. So I appreciate it, Millie.
We'll do it again. Keep me updated. I'll send you that video when I find it. And I look forward to chatting more.
Okay. You
Many
have a great
blessings
evening.
to you.
You
On
too.
your dreams. Bye.